we have heard so many MBA diary speakers coming in, but it's the first time we have seen a person who has moved up the career to become a managing director of organization and who has done different roles at different times. What is your advice to us who are just starting life and we have a huge challenge when the whole country is in turmoil, especially the last IMF report and the 16 points that they have highlighted. For us in youngsters, what advice would you give to us? Because we are studying for the masters to move up the corporate ladder. What is your advice?
Well. It's a difficult question. Now, I know we are in a spot of bother right now. Now, we all now have something called, we like to see stability. We like to see a future. Now, even in business, even as an individual who wants to keep your future plans, you want to see stability, right? Now, which is missing in the especially last 1.5 years. We find that stability, the predictability of the country, where Sri Lanka is going, where the businesses are likely to move is very difficult now, which I agree. I think this question, who sent it, has a very, it's a big question a lot of people have. Now in companies, people leave a lot. I mean, in Singapore alone, a large number of people have left, especially migrated, not because they were unhappy with the company. They were unhappy with the whole setup. So it's sad to see people leaving. So my view here is we have to I tell my people, don't be in a hurry. We have to go through this period. Like the pandemic period we passed, we have to go through this crisis period. It's that instability that is actually bothering most of us. I'm sure all of you, as even people we are running businesses, we don't know what is going to be next month, when the import restrictions are going to be released, when are we going to get our stuff. It's full of shocks, right? Now, when you have a stable kind of a future, you predict your business, you forecast, you analyze, you plan and execute. But here it's more like renewal. We have to survive. So in that mode, most of the companies are in. So what I would say as a youngster who are actually thinking is, this country needs good people, right? I'm talking from a different perspective now. This country needs good people to take the country out of the problem. So if everybody thinking of leaving the country, it's not a good thing. So we would expect you to kind of withstand this period, and maybe you never know, things could settle down. Things have improved from it was 6 months ago to today, from a business perspective, slow improvement. But as individuals, focus on your careers, focus on your businesses, and don't get distracted over the kind of external affairs that happens very much. As just focus on your work and make sure that you are actually doing what is right. So I'm sure that will help you to settle down at some point. But if you are also very distracted and not sure what to do, that's not a good situation to be in. So get settled down. Don't run here and there mostly. If you are settling in a company, do the job right. I'm sure it will take you there.
Hello, and welcome to yet another MBA Diary session. Today we have an interesting topic delivered by a very interesting individual with a very strong career span. To introduce our speaker, I would like to welcome Dr. Rohan Tatakorla, the pioneer behind the MBA Diary series. Dr. Rohan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. We have a amazing personality today, a very seasoned professional with over 34 years of work experience at Haley's and at Singer Group. He joined Singer Sri Lanka board as alternative director in 2006 and was appointed as the managing director and group chief executive officer of Singer Group of companies on the 1st of November 2018. Prior to this position, he held the positions of commercial and service director, sales director, marketing director, and chief operating officer of Singer. He holds a master's in business administration from the University of Southern Queensland, diploma in general management from the Open University of Sri Lanka, executive education at Harvard Business School, Boston, USA, and the National University of Singapore. A past chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce Import Section, Sri Lanka China Business Council, and CSR for Sri Lanka. He currently serves as a member of the Haley's Group of Management Committee and sits on the International Chamber of Commerce Policy Committee and Sri Lanka Retailers Association as Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, vivid sportsman. Every day I see him at the gym. A lovely human being, a fantastic professional who can actually tell you how to navigate your career, given that you can see how he has navigated his career in his life in different positions to now becoming the managing director, chief executive officer of the Singer Group. Ladies and gentlemen, Mahesh Wijewardene. Over to you, Mahesh.
Right. Thank you, Rohantha. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. And I see it as a really an honor and a privilege to speak to some of the MBA students of yours. And this title given to me, navigating your career, is something I would also love to talk to, because I, as an individual, would love to see people getting developed, getting elevated, getting their careers developed. So it inspired me as well. So my background was already told by Dr. Rohantha, so thank you. So I believe we have an audience here of different age groups, different, some must be working, some must be still not working, different from different fields, holding different positions. So I'll be talking very much in general. I can't find a specific areas to focus. So with the limited time I have, I think let's make it very simple, casual, and very interactive session. If I sound boring, Rohantha or anyone, please feel free to disturb and say something interesting. So I would like to go about this subject is actually from an experience sharing point of view, kind of a common sense approach, what is actually happening in corporates, how and say what and how we would see a person developing and navigating their career path and aspiration. So what also, like as an individual, what we look for and what we notice of people at workplace when we earmark some people for development, for higher positions, some kind of a do's and don'ts. So I hope that is fine, Rohantha, to go like that.
That's fine, Mahesh. Thank you very much.
Right. So I'm sure the Institute must be going through a lot of theory and serious stuff. So let's share some of the real-time situations and experience that we normally interact and experience at office. So I just start something how I started it. My career, I was actually about 20 years when I went to Haley's at the products. So a little story that actually hit me. So my first day at office, as a 20-year-old, I was given like that. Those days we had this wooden table. This is, I'm talking about way back in 1989. So wooden table with a glass on top. So I remember it was a very nice, clean table used by the previous person. So there was a small piece of paper, like a 2-inch by 2-inch a piece of paper underneath that glass. So I looked at it, I saw that, I noticed it, but didn't really read it. but after a few days, I looked at it properly. Then it had something to say. It had a small quote, which I would like to share with you right now. I have one screen to share. Let me see whether I can. Can you see? You all
Yes.
can see?
Yes.
Okay. So this note said, the chief ability of an executive should be his ability to recognize ability. Let me repeat. The chief ability of an executive should be his ability to recognize ability. So as a 20-year-old, I really didn't understand anything of this. Just I even didn't read it properly. But as time passes, as I was there for a couple of months, maybe a few months, I kept reading on it. But with my work, with my experience, I realized there's something really deep in this. It has a lot of meaning to this. So with the time passing, maybe a couple of years, I kept on recognizing this small piece of paper with this chief ability of an executive should be his ability to recognize ability, has a very deep meaning to that. Just think about it, apply it to yourself and see, isn't that true? It could be your personal thing, your official capacity, your children. Just think about it. So I'll take this slide off. Right. So this was my beginning. So which I felt it that quote keeps reminding me. It's with me even now after 34 years. I still keep talking about it whenever I get a chance to talk to people. So I know as individuals, I'm sure there are individuals who are listening to this who are actually in their careers at different stages. There could be very top executives also. But what I'm saying is, I know some of you all are specializing in certain areas. You want to be in marketing stream, you want to be in finance, you want to be in commercial HR. So, but what my view is, don't be too ambitious to gain positions. Don't be in a major hurry to gain positions, because you can't force yourself to be navigate your career is the subject, but so to navigating means you navigate, you don't really fast track it. So don't be in a major hurry, because you can't force it there, because you need to fulfill certain amount of fundamentals and attributes to navigate or even to go get certain elevations in your career. So there are, we call them capital hexagon. Individuals must have this kind of characteristics, attributes, and qualities when you want to navigate your career. So let me have one more slide, which I borrowed from someone.
Yes, Mahesh, can say.
Right. So now this actually tells you, we call it the graduate capital. Let me say MBA students as graduates. So you can see 6 areas, 6 core areas where fundamentals of an individual can be segmented. So there, now each one, if you read it through, I don't want to take a lot of time over this slide, but you might take a picture or something and read it later. But let's capture a few of each one. You can see human capital. We'll start from this side. So it has certain attributes, skills that you need to have when you want to kind of progress on your career. Problem solving skills, language and communication skills, application, knowledge, creativity. So likewise, learnability, analytical skills. So that comes under human capital. Then there's something called an identity capital, right? There is some personal investment in employment, work identity behavior, image on paper, articulate. So similar on the identity, who you are. Then a leader capital, initiate and deliver, inspire others, build trust with others. There's something called a social capital, working as a team, networking skills, interpersonal skills, passion to help others. These are very relationship building, very important. Then comes to the other ones are cultural capital, exposure to the wider cultural makeups, because you know in the present day, in the globally, a lot of this cultural matters a lot. So awareness of the cultural practices. Then comes to the psychological capital, which is again very important, I would say: self-confidence, commitment, ability to withstand pressure, emotional capability, career adaptability, another important thing. And very important is a passion, your passion to work, passion to in whatever you do. So these are few things which I would say as fundamentals, basics, when you want to kind of develop yourself in terms of navigating your career. I must clearly say there can't be any shortcuts to careers, because it's something which you need to build over time. So this is something like, even in a business, if you all, I'm sure you all are into companies, we can't really start a business with the end point in mind. You basically set the fundamentals right. Let's say you can't start a profit as your key objective, but you make sure that you have the proper revenues, the cost of the production, the cost structure, gross margins are properly kind of set up. So automatically the profit margin comes out. That's like when you are running a business. So same thing applies even in navigating your careers. You simply can't say, I'm going to be so-and-so in 2 years' time without having the fundamentals right. So those are, in that hexagon, you will see most of them actually are nicely designed in a way. You put them into those 6 areas. So just remember those areas which I would say key to a success of a person. You might not have all those, but at least having some of those will definitely help. Another thing that would also, what we generally see is many of people look at a very straight line career path. We see somebody joining to a company as, let's say, assistant or trainee sales associate. So he becomes a trainee, becomes a sales executive, a regional sales manager, maybe a sales manager, or even as a sales, end up as a sales director. So it's a very much a straight line career path. But you must also look at lateral moves. So you simply can't find in many organizations straight line for everybody. So you must be flexible. You should be adaptable to move yourself this side as well, laterally. So if you are let's say you are in a sales field, why not you look at a marketing field function? Why not you look at a commercial area, procurement and sourcing with your experience? So have that flexibility and the adaptability to move laterally as well to career, to kind of help you to build up your careers. Otherwise, somebody looking at from the straight line will see a lot of kind of restrictions in navigating your career to wherever you want to be. So the general thing about my view on this whole thing is how I see working with a lot of people for a long time. We like to see general managers. We like to see people becoming general managers in a specialized field. Let's say your specialization is on the marketing side, but don't be purely a marketer only. Don't be purely an accountant only. Don't be purely an HR manager only. Be a general manager. Your field is specialized, but be a general manager. Learn a lot from the surrounding. And when you talk general sense as well. Don't only stick to your marketing points, but you can see, because in organizations, you have a lot of functions, a mix of functions. But when you talk like a general manager, it impresses. It actually gives you stand out of the rest, that you know much more than an ordinary person. So I think just keep that in mind. Have a general manager approach always, so that will definitely going to help you. Rohant, I think am I in the right way? Right.
Very much, Mahesh. Thank you very much.
Okay. So another, I'm going a little fast because of the 20 minutes duration. So one more thing, I'm actually sharing experience, right? So this is where we feel people need to evolve with the time, with the experience. Today's person as a junior manager should not be the same junior manager. Once you thinking of that person needs to change, because without when you are not thinking differently, you're going to be sticking at the same place for a long time. Now you have to start thinking like the next level before you get elevated to that. I remember one of my bosses said, I will promote you to next level when you start thinking like that person. So that is a triggering point, right? So it's, let's say you are a clerical hand in a company, but I see some of these clerical hands are actually working like executives. They think like executives. So you can't actually keep a good person down. So just start thinking. It won't happen the other way, right? A lot of people think, okay, I'm here for a long time. When I get elevated to executive, I'll start thinking like an executive. No, that won't happen. This has to come naturally from you. Let's think like a senior manager when you are a junior middle manager. So then it actually triggers to the rest of the company, top management. I see this guy is good. This guy knows his stuff. He thinks like a senior manager. So that actually allows you to get attention, get noticed when you are in that position. So overall, when you say navigating your career, you also want to actually grow with your career. So elevation into a position, a higher you go is what? Is all about taking responsibility. It's all about taking responsibility. From a junior manager to a middle manager, you are a much more responsible person. To a director, even more responsible. CEO has a huge responsibility in running that organization. So the higher you go, the greater responsibility you take. So remember that and be prepared for that. So you can't just become a senior person and still keep that same old responsibility you had it at a lower level. That is actually going to keep you there for a long time. It will be like stuck. So one other thing we also would like to see in youngsters is to be a leader at young age. So some people have this wrong, very wrong notion to say, when you say a leader, I have to be a senior manager. No, that is wrong. You can be a leader even as a very low entry level or at the beginners as well. You need to show that leadership qualities. Now, sometimes I go to our showroom visits. At my company, we normally travel. So we go to our outstation showrooms. So we have district managers in our outlet. Then we have the area manager. So when I go with them, the district manager is the one who should lead, not the CEO. So I expect him to go in front of me, open the showroom and say, look, these are my staff. This is what we are doing. But we sometimes see our district manager is far behind. He thinks that the CEO should go first. No, that is not right. In that district, he is the boss. So he should take that leadership. So we like that kind of people. We like that kind of people who are aggressive, who has that keenness to show he is actually taking leadership. So at very young age, even when you're doing a project, show their leadership skill. Even organizing some small thing, maybe a sports day in your company, a CSR event. Let's say even a Pirit ceremony or something, even in the company. Show your ability to do certain things. When you have this recognition. Few other points also, as individuals, as MBA students, I'm sure you all are very educated. So we also need to have something called a very good self-assessment of the person, right? So when you don't know who you are, it's very difficult to navigate your career, because sometimes you are actually misled by yourself, because you think I'm good, I'm the best in this field. A company should recognize me, but the company management thinks very differently, because you are at a wrong self-assessment. So it's very important when you do like a 360-degree appraisal or something, your self-assessment comes very close to the peers and the subordinates. If it is very far from your normal others, you will find that actually there's a big mismatch between what you think and what they think. So it's very important that you have a very good self-assessment of yourself. Maybe one thing to do is to learn from others. You need to talk to your peers. You need to talk to your subordinates. Ask, what do you think of me? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? So it's very different. We should not overestimate yourself. Please don't do that, because it will also actually be a very, I would say, a black mark or a bad kind of a remark for your career development when you overestimate yourself. And developing yourself, also somebody who is willing to learn from and willing to develop others. So leader, a good person who wants to navigate your career into a higher level should also be somebody who is showing leadership skills or developing others, your subordinates and your kind of people who work under you. Because some of these people think, I should not develop another guy because he will eventually take my place. It happens in certain companies, certain places. They are developed to, they are scared to develop the number two because they'll see one day very soon, this number two guy is going to take my place. Now that will never happen because you are recognized for doing that development work at the management level because you are a good leader, because you are actually helping others to develop. So don't ever think this guy I'm going to develop is going to end up in my seat one day. So therefore, I should not develop anybody. This is not something will ever happen. Even if it happens, you are recognized as a good leader because you have done the right thing. The other point also would I like to highlight is wherever you work, you could be working in different companies, different size of companies. There could be smaller companies, could be medium size, different fields. You could be in your own private businesses, your private various practices. Have a very good understanding of the purpose of your organization, purpose of your business. So we are, if I take myself, we are in the business of elevating and enriching the lives of people. So I can't say I'm in the business of selling consumer durables. No, we are in the business of our purpose is to elevate the living standard of people. So that is likewise understand the purpose of your business or the organization and the organizational values. There are most organizations, I'm sure all of you would have a set of values. So these values are the guiding principles of that organization, and it applies to individually to you as well for your behaviors. So have that part as well. I'd like to say a small story. This one, I saw a clip where this famous actor, Indian actor, Shah Rukh Khan, he was actually attending a guest speech at Harvard University. And one of the students, I'm sure some of you have already seen this, one of the students asked Mr. Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, what is the secret of your success? So he gives this answer. He said, there's only one answer I can give. It is my fear of failure. It's my fear of failure. What does he mean by fear of failure? Because he doesn't like to fail. So he comes very prepared, even in his acting career, everything he do, he has actually, he goes a lot of detail, he gets prepared. So his fear of failing. So when you have that kind of fear of failure, there's a chance of succeeding is very high. But even in our organizations, you will find, just think about your own companies, you will find people who do repeated mistakes, repeated errors. because they don't have that fear of failure. Let's say somebody gives a forecast of a wrong forecast over and over and over, right? But that guy doesn't learn. Okay, I have failed a couple of times. At least I should have that fear of failure. So that fear of failure is a very good thing for individuals. You can see people who have progress in their careers have that fear of failure. Because even for this session I'm doing today, I had a little bit of preparation. I didn't want to fail. I don't know whether I would impress all of you, but at least I have done some work to prepare myself so that I don't like to fail. So the success and this depend on your feedback, but the fear of failure thing is very important. So few other things which people would like to see is, as individuals, have a very positive approach and attitude. Don't show this lethargic kind of an approach. If you are into whatever the field you are in, have that positive approach and be a very humble person. Don't bring ego into your position. We see in commonly, I think when I speak, you can apply yourself or your office, or you can actually do a bit of comparison. Are we having these kind of people? So there are people where whenever the position goes up, his ego also goes up. That's not a good thing. Be humble, be down to earth. Always say that we don't know everything. We are ready to learn from others and take good things. So we should look at people, say that you estimate yourself. Don't say I'm 100% always. Say that I'm 75, I have 25% to learn. So that learning curve helps you to take you to the next level. So that learning from others is very important. You follow certain individuals. Now in our careers, we have worked under some very good bosses. So we take the good side of them. We look at, okay, say in my case, I had a director I worked under, one Mr. Anand Raja from Haley's Deep Products. So I've taken the good things. Then I had Mr. Hemaka Amarasuriya, who was the chairman of Singer. Then I had the pleasure of working under Mr. Mohan Panditage, Mr. Dhammika Pereira, and certain GM. So I see when you interact with them, when you work with them, you actually get a very good attributes from them. So you take those in, nothing to kind of be shy to take them in, good attributes. So something I also would like to be something interesting in any organization is the office. Interesting area is office politics and kind of toxic people and the wrong friendships. So it's very, very interesting. This is there in almost every office, maybe to a lesser extent in certain, maybe to a high extent in certain companies, certain divisions, certain groups of people. You find these office politics, the toxic people, wrong friendships. So don't get caught to these things. As an individual, you have to be focused. You have to be dedicated and commitment. This small story, one day, one of these boys who walked into his boss's room and says, "Sir, I'm going to leave." So he comes and tells the boss, "I want to leave this company. I can't work anymore." So the boss asks this boy, "Why do you want to leave?" "No, sir, it's very difficult to work in this company. There are so many people in my department. Doesn't really allow me to work. They put a lot of things onto my head. They disturb me. They shout. They are very they put a lot of unnecessary things into my head. I get disturbed. So I don't think I can work here." So the boss listened to this person for a while and said, "Okay, if you want to go, that's fine. But before leaving, do one thing. Just do one thing for me." He says, "Take a glass of water, fill a water glass up to top, fill a full glass of water, take the glass around your division 3 times without dropping any water. Just take the glass with water in your division 3 times without dropping water and come and see me. So this boy goes down, and after about half an hour, he comes back to the boss. Then asks, what happened? Did you take the glass of water? Said, yes, I took the full glass of water, went around my division 3 times. Did you drop any water? Then he says, no, I didn't drop a single, I didn't drop anything. Not a single drop fell on the floor. So then he asked, were all these people were there in your division when you walk? Yes, sir, everybody was there. They were all as before, they were there as normal. So what did you hear? Then this guy says, no, sir, I didn't hear anything. I did not hear a single thing because I was fully focused on that glass of water, which I was carrying without dropping anything. So that's the example he gave. He said, if you are focused on your job, the outside disturbances won't actually distract you. So just that the story tells that don't get kind of distracted by unnecessary things, unnecessary friends, toxic people. Just focus on your job. So that will give you that kind of comfort and that satisfaction that you are doing your job. And these toxic people, they won't bother you for long. When you know that you are focused, you can't be disturbed by these unnecessary garbage that they want to put into your head. They will actually give up after some time. So this is just one story which you normally find in certain offices that can actually hamper your career path, but that is all up to you to manage it. So a few things to also on this present social media. I know everyone uses their phones, they're on their computers, phones, but don't get overly addicted to social media. If you are working, you are a working person, use it wisely. Use it wisely. You can be on social media, but don't get overly addicted because you never know until you realize that you are actually getting distracted. You are not spending enough time on the key function of yours, key for priorities of yours, because this social media is actually taking you out of that job. So these are things where in navigating somebody's career, you need to be focused. You can't find everybody going up in their careers, navigating into a proper way, because you get distracted, you get this kind of addiction. So don't take on unnecessary garbage into your head. You have better things to concentrate, better things to look at. When you are a manager or a director or an executive of a company, take what is important only. Don't take unnecessary things to your head, because keep that space for better things. So a few more things that in navigating a career to a higher level, you also need external assistance. You need a lot of support from your family. I'm just coming out of the office to the family side. So you need a lot of support from your family. You need support from your parents. You need support from your wife or spouse, and you need support from your children. That is because they need to understand your position, your responsibilities, your commitments, as well as your what are exactly your priorities, and how do they support you to navigate your career. So yourself also need to actually explain to your family, these are my priorities. I need the support of you to take on responsibility, take on higher positions. The higher you go, the higher the support you need. If you are a senior manager, director, you need actually much higher support from your family, because your commitments are bigger to the organization. So career path wise, that understanding within the family is very important. That will definitely help you. Let's say if your spouse clearly understand you and they actually help you in your support you in your work wise. Let's say they don't disturb you very much. They don't put unnecessary pressure on you. So they manage it themselves. All that will help. So sometimes what we realize is when the husband and wife both works in private sector, actually it matches well because both sides understand each one's role. So that also helps. Then you also need to manage your finances very well. If you poorly manage your finances, that actually puts you in a much difficult position than others. And that will also be a kind of a deterrent for your career progression, your path, because you are not properly managing your finances. And also your status and the reputation in the society. The higher you go, you need to maintain the reputation. So just simple things. These are very simple things. You all must be wondering, I'm just telling what all of you all must be knowing all by now. But remember sometimes when somebody tells it, actually clicks, okay, these things are also important. You need to have a good personality, improve your communication skills, dress well, be a pleasant person, because people judge you. There's a saying that your personality is a true reflection of your work. We see some people in certain organizations who are very messy. They look messy. When you open their computer also, you can see that the screen has not been even wiped for a couple of months. So much of dirt and finger marks, dust in their screen also. So that tells that personality is reflected in that person, right? So people judge you. Some people say, no, they don't judge people, but it happens naturally. Even if you go for an interview, go as a very pleasant, like a energy, show your energy, go in a very active mode and show that you are actually, that first interaction can make or break. So these are important things. So I think I have taken about half an hour already. So just to conclude, so there is no career, I would say, progression without your effort. Don't expect the company to take you through. It is you who can make it or break it. It will never happen that the company will, because you are here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you will be taken in the career progression. No. To navigate your career, it is your effort that matters. And I must say that passion to work, attitude to work, you wake up early in the morning and tell, okay, I'm going to work. I have to do a lot of work. I don't say, it's another working day. Don't ever do that. Say, go with a lot of energy and passion. So just one more slide, I think I have taken, want to share. Right, so this is, I'm sure everybody knows. So there are three kinds of people in this world. So people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and also people who wonder what happened. So you will find these people in your workplace, in your various associations. So be the first one, somebody who makes things happen. You also, when you see, definitely there are people who say, let's see, I don't want to get it. No, I'll just watch what is happening, right? So that's a middle group. Then there's another group, they are totally clueless. They suddenly ask, oh, this has happened to your company. They are the people who wonder what happened. So always be in this first group, people who make things happen. So that is a little of my view of some of this navigating your career. I hope I gave some insights. I don't know whether it was useful or not. Rohantha and your team, I'll just wait for your feedback.
Thank you very much, Mahesh. And it was a fantastic piece of advice that you gave. A lot of questions are coming. I'm going to give you the first question that's coming. The question is, how has Singer been the #1 most popular brand for the last, I don't know, 15 or 20
15
years
years. Yeah.
continuously? And what is your take of how you have navigated this brand when people's lifestyles has changed so drastically over 15 years? But how have you kept the brand relevant?
Yeah. So good question. Happy to answer that. The Singer in Sri Lanka is 146 years old. 146 years. Singer is a corporate brand. Singer is a retail brand. Singer is a product brand. And we have actually kept the brand alive even in this 145-year journey. We kept on evolving. If we have not evolved, we could have been gone by now. So Singer up to about 1980s were a single product, single brand company that was only sewing machines. So we saw that it's not going to last. So we changed our strategy to be a multi-brand, multi-product, multi-channel, consumer durable retailer. So one of the things that the direct answer to you is we have always kept the brand relevant through actually widening our scope of product offering, reaching the consumers. And in Sri Lanka, Singer actually reaches quite a bit of the households, as in most of the cases. And what we sell are durable goods, which is there in front of you. If you go to your fridge, you will find Singer or Cecil, or may say Singer. If you go to your washing machine, you'll find Singer. So that is one of the reasons people remember. So in this survey, when they ask what is the brand that comes to your head, people say it's Singer. There are so many other brands. I don't want to name them, but very powerful. But that being with the company, being with the consumer, close to them is helping us a lot. And we also have been evolving. If you don't evolve, it's will go down in our brand kind of equity as well, value. But we see that as a very important thing. Now, even our sports sponsorships we are actually showing that we are relevant, we are out there. And also we need to ensure that in the long run, we target all the groups from youth to the middle age to the settled age people, so that they are keeping that brand relevant. So that is helping us. You're on mute, Doctor.
There's another question coming up, Mahesh. It says that you have been the commercial and service director, sales director, and marketing director.
Yeah.
What is your area of specialization, and what made you want to do roles in other areas?
Okay, my specialization was in commercial, that is sourcing procurement. That was where I started in my early Haley's company, and I continued it for almost like 15, 20 years. But in the process, also, this is again bringing that general management attitude to you. I was given additional roles, which I didn't say no to it. My chairman at that time, Mr. Hemaka Amarasuriya, when I was the commercial director, he asked me, can you also take on the after sales service side? It was a tough one, but I said, yeah, why not? So that lateral movement in your careers, otherwise I would have ended only as a commercial director. But that sideways movement gave us that ability, and learning on the other side, being a general manager, had that ability for me to learn the areas of sales as well as marketing. So I did those for like 4 years, 3 years stints before I took the other.
We have heard so many MBA diary speakers coming in, but it's the first time we have seen a person who has moved up the career to become a managing director of organization and who has done different roles at different times. What is your advice to us who are just starting life, and we have a huge challenge when the whole country is in turmoil? especially the last IMF report and the 16 points that they have highlighted. For us in youngsters, what advice would you give to us? Because we are studying for the masters to move up the corporate ladder. What is your advice?
Well. It's a difficult question. Now, I know we are in a spot of bother right now. Now, we all now have something called, we like to see stability. We like to see a future. Now, even in business, even as an individual who wants to keep your future plans, you want to see stability, right? Now, which is missing in the especially last 1.5 years. We find that stability, the predictability of the country, where Sri Lanka is going, where the businesses are likely to move, is very difficult now, which I agree. I think this question, who sent it, has a very it's a big question a lot of people have. Now in companies, people leave a lot. I mean, in Singapore alone, a large number of people have left, especially migrated, not because they were unhappy with the company. They were unhappy with the whole setup. So it's sad to see people leaving. So my view here is we have to I tell my people, don't be in a hurry. We have to go through this period. Like the pandemic period we passed, we have to go through this crisis period. It's that instability that is actually bothering most of us. I'm sure all of you, as even people we are running businesses, we don't know what is going to be next month, when the import restrictions are going to be released, when are we going to get our stuff. It's full of shocks, right? Now, when you have a stable kind of a future, you predict your business, you forecast, you analyze, you plan and execute. But here it's more like renewal. We have to survive. So in that mode, most of the companies are in. So what I would say as a youngster who are actually thinking is, this country needs good people, right? I'm talking from a different perspective now. This country needs good people to take the country out of the problem. So if everybody thinking of leaving the country, it's not a good thing. So we would expect you to kind of withstand this period, and maybe you never know, things could settle down. Things have improved from it was 6 months ago to today, from a business perspective, slow improvement. But as individuals, focus on your careers, focus on your businesses, and don't get distracted over the kind of external affairs that happens very much. As just focus on your work and make sure that you are actually doing what is right. So I'm sure that will help you to settle down at some point. But if you are also very distracted and not sure what to do, that's not a good situation to be in. So get settled down. Don't run here and there mostly. If you are settling in a company, do the job right. I'm sure it will take you there.
My very last question coming up.
Yeah.
It says, we have heard so much about Harvard Business School. Can you share what you picked up from Harvard when you went for executive education?
Honestly, it wasn't a very long education period. It's just a couple of days, right? So I think my travel time was longer than the study time there. So, but it was a difficult entry in the first place. Not everybody can get that opportunity. So I was fortunate enough to get that Harvard education, just a couple of days, maybe 2-3 days there. It's an executive education program, but it's a beautiful experience. You actually pitch with some top quality people at that Harvard class. The group of people we did is from around the world. I was the only one from here. It was top class people. Sometimes you feel that you are very low in that way. Certain people, the intellect of certain people and the capacity of some of them. But learning was very good. And since going to Harvard, the other important thing is we get connected to the Harvard literature. So that keeps coming to you. So that literature is very useful. So that actually helps you a lot in terms of learning. So you keep learning. This learning from Mackenzie's, Harvard, the University of Singapore, material is very, very important. Just pick the right material and start reading them. It's very good learning material. And also too, it's nice to have that you are Harvard, educated at Harvard, whether it's just 2 days or full degree, at least have that name is also something you're proud of.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Singer Group, Mahesh Wijewardene. It was fantastic. Ruth, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohantha and Ruth, for that wonderful opportunity given. I actually enjoyed talking. I hope there was something valuable to these listeners. So thank you once again for that opportunity given.
Ruth, over to you.
Mr. Mahesh, I must say, the topic you had may sound very simple today, but something much needed, because this is a career for most is quite overlooked. Once you get into the routine of the day-to-day and also your livelihood, it sort of, gets into the habit, like people get into the habit of things and they sort of juggle along as they walk through life. And I am confident that the insights that you have shared through your years of experience had not fallen on deaf ears. I'm sure everybody would have taken at least something from what you have shared with us. So do not sell yourself too short, because the tea is indeed very valuable. Because like you mentioned, a lot of theory is covered. But then it's always nice to have somebody in the industry coming and talking about these theories that we learn in class. So thank you so much. We understand from everything that you have said that you are very busy, and yet you took the time to come and address our students, and that just goes to show how much of a humble human being you are. And on behalf of the students as well, I'd like to say thank you. And
thank you.
It's an honor to have you on our platform today.
Right. Thank you very much.
As we draw to a close of this MBA Diary session, I'd like to send out a few thanks. First to our audience, our students, our industry partners, our alumni who's joined in for today's session, our IT team for the technical support, and also for anyone who's joined in from the industry, just a kind reminder that at APIT, we have a very strong internship program. So if you do have any vacancies or internship opportunities, do send it across. And last but not least, since our topic today is about career growth, I'd like to remind everybody that at APIT, we've recently launched a few new master's programs. So do check that out. You may walk in, call, or even email for more details on your way to upskilling yourself. So with this, I'd like to wish everybody a good day, a good afternoon, and a good evening from wherever you're joining in. Till the next session, take care.